Hello gamers, and welcome to my range review from Tatham's Puzzles. I'll go ahead and get us started and teach some rules and some tips and tricks. Alright, the first rule is to always have the number of boxes, including itself, around the number. So 10, for example, has 8 squares sideways and 1 square vertically. It needs 1 dot of space. And so the 11 below it, it also needs an extra dot of space because there's 8 plus the 3 above. So the 12, it's going to need 3 dots of space. There we go. Now if we look at the top, we see that there's the 7. The 7 has a 5 next to it, so it can only have a max of 5 horizontally. Therefore it's going to need 2 vertically, at least. Using maxes, you can find the mins. So we'll go ahead and focus on these 5s. We see that they can't connect horizontally. The left one already has 4, and the right one already has 3, and so we need to keep them separated. Whenever you have a box, you need to have a dot next to it. You can't have 2 boxes next to each other. So if we focus on the bottom again, we have a 10, it needs space. And 11 below that, it's going to need more space because it's done. The 10, we don't know if it's going to have 1 box on the left or 1 box on the right. But we can see from the 12, doing some math, there's going to be 1 dot upward. For example, 10 has 10 dots. Vertically, it already has 4, and it's going to share with 12 horizontally. Therefore, 12 is going to need 6 vertically. So, to repeat that, 12 has 6 vertically, 10 has 4 vertically, because they share horizontally, and 12 is 2 more than 10. So we know to cut it off here. This 5 on the left, it needs to be cut off from the 7. The 9 right above, it needs 1 more dot because it has 8 horizontally, and so it's going to need 1 vertically. The 7 on the left has been trapped against the wall, so it's going to need some dots. It only had 5 before, but now it can have 7 downward, or it can have 7 upward, so we can't add any more dots to it just yet. But since we added 1 to this 9 on the right of the 7, we know it can't connect to the 4. That's too many. So this 9 is now complete. Alright, now we can fill in some dots. Whoa. So we've got a dot over here and over here. There we go. So we've got the 6 and the 5 are complete, and so now the 4 is complete. There we go. Now the 7 is complete. It has 7 squares around it. Alright, if we look at the 6, it can't go left because that's 7 squares, and so it goes to the right. Alright. Now if we look at the 7 on the left, it's pretty much complete, so we can fill it into here and block it off there. The 12 and the 10 are complete, and we've just dotted here. This game goes by really fast. And so, let's see, where's the next place we can focus? How about the top? The 5 is complete. Alright, now you can't block a square in the corner. They always have to be connected to the rest of the squares, the black squares. And so, you can't have 2 squares next to each other, and you can't have a square that's been left in solitude. Alright, so the next part we're going to focus on is this 8. This 8 has can't connect to the 9. This 9, it can only have 1 square next to it, so having this square right here leaves us a max for 8. So we can find out how far left it goes. It needs 1 here, and there's going to be a dot here. So now we can get rid of this box. We don't know about this one yet until we find out about the 9 above, if its 2 squares are right here or right here. So we have a 5. It can't go downward, and neither can the 12 because that's too much, and so those ones are good to go. The 8 is now complete. Alright, this 8 is complete. We know this square goes here, and that 8 is done, so the 9 is done right here. And then we have an 8 on the right. You can see the square goes right here. Thanks for watching. I hope you subscribe. If you would like to see another tutorial, I can do another one really quickly. So we have a 10 on the top. It needs to connect to about right here. The 4 can't go left, so we block it off. The 3 can't go down, and so we block that one off too. Now the 4 is complete. We got some dots. Now the 3 can't go left because that's too much, and we know the 3 is done. Alright. We have the 10. It's probably going to be complete. We can probably go all the way to the left. Yep, and the right. Alright. So if we look over towards the 7, we see that it needs some space. And so how far does it go? At least 2 right here. We don't know if it goes any further just yet, because it could also go left. Alright, so the next part we're going to focus on is going to be the 6. It needs a dot. Alright, the 5 on the left, if it can't connect to those dots on the right because they're too many, so this is the max it could have, and so we're going to go ahead and add some dots to there, and there we go. That 5 is, could either go down one more or right one more. Alright, so let's look at this 10. It needs space. And so does this 10 right here. Now those two 10s are connected. We know there's going to be 2 dots because of the parallel rule. The 10 above it is going to have the same number of dots horizontally as the 10 below. Alright, so the 10 has 3 dots, so this 10 is going to have 3 dots. We don't know if the last dot's going to be to the left or the right. Now the 9s, they follow the same rule. There's 3 dots for the 10, minus 1. It's going to be 2 dots. We know the 9s are going to have at least 1 dot each right here. We don't know if the next one is going to be to the left and to the right, or vice versa. So, what is the next part we can focus on? Alright, I gave you a little bit of time. We can go ahead and focus on this 10 and count the number of dots that it has already and see if it's done. And it is! Hooray! We know this 5 is complete. It's got 5 dots. The 6 is complete. Alright, now we can focus on this 8. It needs space. Alright, and then the 9 needs twice as much space. So, now that those are complete, we can focus on, how about the 10 on the left. It has a corner square. You always have dots next to the corners, because you can't have 2 squares next to each other, and you can't block out that spot. So there it goes. It's good to go. And it has 3, so we can finish that part. There we go. Now the 4 on the right, it doesn't look like it's able to, you can't go very far with it. There's not enough information. Alright, what can we focus on? How about the 9s? We know that they have 2 spots. So one of them is going to look like this. It's complete. The other one is going to look like this. And it's complete. It's got 2 spots on the sides. So the next part to focus on, that's going to be the 8 at the bottom. How much space does it need? It needs all of it, all the way over to there. And then the other 8 is going to be about the same. There we go. Now we have the 9 is filled in horizontally and all the way to the bottom, so we can just fill it up northwise and it's complete. So we know this 12 is going to go a little bit to the left. Let's go ahead and see how far it goes. Wow, it doesn't care. Alright. I'm not sure how. Let's see what we can do to test the next parts. The 7. The 7 has too much if we place a dot here, so we can go ahead and place it in a box. The 4 is going to keep going north. And then it gets a box, and that one's complete. Alright, the 7 can't have a dot there, and it's good to go. Thanks for watching. Hope you subscribe and enjoy my other videos. Feel free to ask any questions, and I'd be glad to do a tutorial on them.